Hello guys, Haroon here. Today we are going to discuss part 6 of Fundamentals of Magento to Development from Scratch. Today we are going to build our first module or a Hello World module in Magento 2. So let's begin. This slide is actually a recall of our previous video in which we discussed the concept of module in Magento 2. So it is strongly recommend that please go through previous video before this one. In this slide there is file there is file system of a Magento 2 module. The blocks with red color are the possible subfolder in Magento 2 modules folder, and blocks with orange can possible files in Magento 2 module. Note that only etc folder is required, which basically a configuration folder of a Magento 2 modules, and registration.php file is required. The remaining folders or file is depend upon functionality or business logic of module. Here one thing is important, that Magento 2 modules are not more strict like Magento 1. A developer can create any other subfolder according to need. So now let's try to create our first module. In first step, in Magento 2 modules are grouped by vendor. So we have to create our vendor or namespace folder inside app code folder, and inside it we have to create our modules folder. One thing is important here, that regardless of installation type, all custom modules is live in app/code directory. So let's see it in action. Here is my Magento 2 installation inside app, inside code. Let's build a directory funky, which will be our namespace or a vendor directory. Inside this vendor directory I am going to build our modules directory. With the name of our module will be hello. Inside hello we have to create etc folder for configuration of the module. Now inside this folder we have to create our module.xml file. So let's first study about module.xml file. Before anything else, there is a naming rule in Magento 2. A module is named vendor underscore module fashion. For example, let's take a module catalog. The name of module will be Magento underscore catalog. Here Magento is actually namespace and catalog is basically a module. Note that module names are case sensitive. So we already create etc folder. Inside we have to create XML file. So let's study about XML file. XML file is actually most important and required file. We can say that it defines a module. The module.xml file contains three pieces of information: the module name, its version, and dependencies. In this slide there is a example module.xml file which I take from catalog module. So in root node of this module.xml file there is a schema location of module.xsd file, which is actually a validation file which validates this module.xml file. Inside root node there is a node of module and its name attribute represents the name of our module, which is Magento underscore catalog. Note that name of module here. Magento is actually the namespace, and underscore the catalog is basically the name of module. And next thing is setup underscore version. The version of this module is 2.1.2. Inside this module node we can see a sequence node, and here four nodes are listed, which are dependencies. In Magento 2, dependencies are basically means that a module is loaded after another module. You define your module in module node and then define which module depend on this module in sequence node. So these four modules are depend on this catalog module. Let's try to build module.xml file for our module. So inside my text editor etc, I actually create a template file of module.xml file to get rid or to avoid spelling mistakes. So let's try to create our module.xml file. The name of file will be module.xml and the name of module will be vendor underscore module name, which is the vendor name is funky underscore module name is hello. So let you can see this is perfect. The name of our module is funky underscore hello. The version of it 0.0.1, and note that there is no dependencies, so there is no sequence node. Dependency actually is an important topic in Magento 2 modules. We will study about dependencies in upcoming videos. So let's see what is next. So in step 3 we have to create registration.php file inside our modules folder. Registration.php file contains instruction on how to find a module. So this is the pattern of registration.php file. Registration.php as it is for every module. Here we only have to create module name as the module name in our case will be funky underscore hello. So let's try to create registration.php file. So inside my module I am going to create m2 registration file. The file name will be registration.php. The module name is funky underscore. So we do not need to actually type this code, and it error free and perfect. You can say registration.php file is created. You can also create templates of this file inside if you are using editor php storm, which is I am using. Save as module template, and you can save this file inside your registration file. If you need any help how to create template file, you can go through php storm documentation. So let's see what is next. So in step 4 we have to create controller or action class. Controller is a, as we know, is the part of MVC design pattern, but here its functionality is different because Magento do not follow or implement standard MVC. Architecture and working with controllers in Magento 2 is itself a big topic. We try to cover it in our later videos. For now, you just have to remember that are to understand that controller live in controller directory in our of a module, and it extends Magento slash framework slash app slash action slash action class, and every module must have a function execute function actually process a URL. Every time a user hits a URL, the execute function will take over. Let's see it in action. So I am going to create my action or controller. So inside my module I am going to create a directory controller. Inside controller I have to create an action path directory. For convenience I am going to name it path. Please take care of naming convention. It is case sensitive, and you have to create folders or directories in start with uppercase instead of etc which start with lowercase. I am going to create mm, mark this directory as a source root, so it will be convenience for me to define namespace. So I am going to create action class here. So the name of our controller will be hello world. So I mark this directory as source directory, so it automatically create namespace for me. Namespace is important here. If you do not declare namespace here, your module will not work properly, so please take care of it. And we already discussed every controller class extends a directory which is a class which is Magento slash app slash action slash action. So in Magento framework, as you can see IntelliSense here, if we do not find any class or we make an error mistake, it automatically notify here action. So here you can see that squiggly, what it's mean. It's we have to create execute method. So going to press is alt enter and going to add method execute. To make my code clean, I am going to import this class. So alt enter import class. So it's make my code clean. So for this simple module I am just going to echo a string which is hello world. Note that I am not going to create a view or a template file in this video. We will create template file and render output in next video. So let's see what is next step. In next step we have to create routes.xml file. So routes.xml file is an configuration file, and obviously it live inside our etc folder. Here we are going to define route for our front end area. So routes.xml file will located inside front end subfolder. We already discussed about what are areas. Areas basically scope of configuration. So please go through previous video if you want to know detail about what is areas and what are areas type is Magento 2. So let's try to read what is module.xml file. Module.xml file demonstrate three things: ID of the router, front name and module name. In this slide there is an example routes.xml file. So for like routes.xml file, the route node is node point towards a schema location, which is routes.xsd file, which used to validate routes.xml file. Inside root node there is a node router. The id attribute is standard. Why it is standard? Because we are going to define route for our front end, so id is equal to standard. If we are going to define route for our admin panel, then the id value will be admin. The reason behind is historical. Give id its standard and don't worry, it will work fine. Inside router node there is a root node, and it contains two attributes. One is id and second one is front name. So what the id attribute of root node uniquely identifies this node across our Magento 2 modules installed in the system. In most time the value of id and front name is same. So what is front name? Front name is most important part here, which tells Magento that the module is registered to process the URL that start with funky. So every URL will start with funky. This module is going to handle it. So let's try to build our routes.xml file. So inside etc folder we have to create a folder named frontend. Inside frontend we are going to create routes file. So the name of file will be routes.xml. Sorry, routes.xml. The name of route will be funky and module name will be funky underscore hello. So here is our module.xml file. The id of route is funky and front name is also funky. So module name is funky underscore hello. So let's see what is next step. Now we have to enable our module. We are going to use command prompt for this purpose. You can also use admin panel, but command prompt is more convenient. So let's see in action. I am going to open my command prompt here. So shift right click, open command prompt here. Let's see what is the status of modules. PHP bin Magento module status. It will list all modules which are installed in our Magento 2 installation and their status. So here is all modules, and you can see this is our module which we are freshly created, and this is disabled. We have to enable it. So to enable this module we have to type command php bin Magento module enable and module name which is funky underscore hello. So our module is enabled. Now we have to run a command setup upgrade, which basically updates our module schema in database. So let's run command php bin magento setup upgrade. It will take some time, so let's see what is next. So we enable our module and proceed command setup upgrade. So here you have to run this command setup upgrade to upgrade your module's version in Magento's database schema. Database table setup underscore module contains all information about all modules and their status. So see what is the status of our command. So this is a result of our setup upgrade command, and our module is enabled. So we don't have to run this command because we are in development mode and do development. If we are in production mode, then we have to run this command. Then we have to must run this command. So what is next? So in step 10 we have to run or test our modules in Magento 2 URL composed of front name slash action path slash action. So in our case the URL will be our host slash our installation slash funky, which is front name, then path, which is our action path, and action, which is our action class. So let's try to run this URL. Inside my browser I am going to type URL. After Magento 2 installation directory, front name, which is funky, slash action path, which is path simply, and action name, which is hello world. So here is output of our Magento 2 first module, hello world. So let's in next video we will create view component of module and try to render proper output. So thanks for watching, have a great day.